Hello, everyone, and welcome to the College to Career Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you all here for this session. We have some wonderful institutions here to share a little bit more with you about what each of them do. Just to talk through the format, each will have 6 minutes to present, and then we'll have some time for Q&A after our final institution presents. Your camera and microphone are off, and they're going to remain off throughout the full session. The panelists cannot see or hear you. They do want to hear your questions though. And so if you have questions at any point throughout the session, go ahead and send those through that Q&A that you see on your screen now. There's another hour of programming after this session concludes, so feel free to check those out and sign up for more if you haven't already. And a reminder that this session is being recorded, so if you need to return to any of this information, the recordings will be available at college2career.org in the coming days. And so with that, I'll go ahead and pass things over to our first presenter, which will be Bishop's University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jane Morrison, and today I'll be talking about the Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems programs, which are newly offered by Bishop's University. And I will be sharing my screen to share my presentation. One moment. All right. So as I mentioned, they're called the Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems programs. And I'll start by talking a little bit more about Bishop's University. We are located in Sherbrooke, Quebec. So this is in the lovely Eastern Townships, about an hour and a half from Montreal. It's really a breathtaking environment, not just because of our old traditional buildings, but also because we are in an area of rolling hills and beautiful scenery, also on the edge of an urban center. Bishop's is known for a stimulating and personalized learning experience because of the small size of the university. We're also known for engaging student life and a community atmosphere, having been voted #1 in student satisfaction for the last 5 years from Maclean's magazine. So I'll talk a little bit more about these programs, what makes them unique. Well, I could actually go on and on about this, but I'll focus on 2 main aspects of the programs which make them unique, especially from other agricultural type programs. The first is that these programs really focus on sustainability from 3 different perspectives: environmental, but also social and economic sustainability. Not only that, but we don't just focus on agricultural production, but we focus on all aspects of the food system. So from the field to the fork and beyond, all of which are really important to focus on for true sustainability. Currently, we offer 3 different programs in sustainable agriculture and food systems. We offer a Bachelor of Arts with a dual specialization in SAFS. So SAFS is what we call as a short form for Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems. We also offer a minor in SAFS and a certificate in SAFS. And very soon, so we're hoping for next fall, depending on approval processes, we'll be offering a BA as well as a BSc with a major in SAFS. I'll tell you a little bit more about each of these programs. So the Bachelor of Arts with a dual specialization is a student who's coming in and taking 2 minors combined, which would be the equivalent number of courses as a major degree. So they would do a minor in sustainable agriculture as well as a minor in sustainable food systems. And they would still have a lot of electives left over to take a variety of different type of courses based on their interests, or maybe even adding another major. For example, a major in business is a really good marriage with the dual specialization. Since the beginning, we've been offering since 2009, we've been offering a minor in SAFS. The dual specialization was new this fall. The minor can be combined with any major, and it's 24 credits. And since 2019, we've been offering a certificate in SAFS. So this is a standalone independent certificate that would not be associated with a major. A student would come specifically for the certificate, which would include 10 courses from the SAFS curriculum. Another thing that makes us unique and that we're really proud of is the experiential learning component of these programs. This is something that's really important, that the students have hands-on learning, and they can do this at the educational farm, which is located on the campus of Bishops. At this farm, there is experiential learning, on-farm teaching, and this is also where the faculty does agroecological based research. And we hope eventually that this farm will become a hub for the whole community. So this is a farm in development. Because of the newness of these programs, we just started developing the farm last year. Already we have a variety of different research trials going on at the farm. We have a seed saving garden. We have a small orchard with permaculture gardens integrated within. Soon we'll be having a building set up, and eventually we plan to expand with multiple orchards and different types of trees, small animals, and more community aspects. Here's a photo that we had commissioned to show our vision of the educational farm. So to summarize, these programs offer a solid base in integrated aspects of sustainable agriculture and food systems. They offer many hands-on learning opportunities, and they even involve additional certificates, for example, a permaculture design certificate, as well as a food handler certificate. I'll leave it there, not so as to not go over my time, and maybe I can come back to some of these answers to questions that come up in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jane, for sharing a little bit more about Bishops. And that's a great plug for that Q&A. So if you have any questions, don't forget to send those at any point during the session through that Q&A on your screen. Next up, we will go ahead and pass things off to University of Manitoba.
Thank you. Hi there, I'm here with the University of Manitoba, also located up in Canada. I'm really excited to talk with you about agriculture because it is our oldest program. We were actually founded as an agricultural college, and for a long time, those were the only programs that we offered. And as you can see on the map here, Manitoba is right in that center of Canada. So it's really fertile land, and it is one of the agricultural centers of the whole country for production and careers. So we're an awesome place to come and get your education. You're going to be surrounded by a lot of opportunities. In fact, Canada as a whole is a great country to come to study this, because 1 in 8 jobs in Canada is actually related to agriculture. About a quarter of those jobs are located on farms, and 3/4 are in cities and communities. So there's really something for everyone. We're right in the center of the country, about an hour from the US border. The closest US city is Grand Forks, North Dakota. We are the oldest university in Western Canada, so we have a lot of opportunities for you. We're a large university with over 30,000 students. Winnipeg is also a large city with lots of things to do. We have a really beautiful and safe, classic traditional walking campus right along the river. So you are never far from your classes, and the agricultural buildings are kind of in their own section of campus. They actually take up a couple of blocks, so it's easy to get between your classes. So why should you study here? We're known for having a very high quality of education. So you can get high quality of education at an affordable cost. All the degrees you would do here will be transferable and accredited for careers in graduate school in the US. We have some of the lowest tuition costs of any university in North America. For international students outside of Minnesota, you'd be paying about $14,000. For Minnesota residents, we do have an agreement that allows you to pay about $4,000 per year for your tuition. Can't get a much better deal than that. You'll have a great student experience. We do offer something called a co-op, which is similar to an internship, but you're able to do this during your degree. You can do 3 full-time paid job placements, and agriculture has one of the most active co-op programs of any of the programs we offer at our university. Notably, our students have worked with Richardson and Cargill, both of which have some of their larger headquarters here in Winnipeg. So we're known for our industry connections, and agriculture students are known all around campus for getting job offers well before they graduate. I've had friends in agriculture that had a job offer in their third year of university, so a year and a half before they even graduated. So that is really something to be proud of. We do get paid for these co-op terms as well. So for agriculture, we do offer several different programs. As I said, we started off as an agricultural college, so we really have a wide range. We have agribusiness, where you can combine your love of agriculture and business, maybe go on to something like grain marketing. And then we have agriculture with a few different specialty areas. So agronomy, animal systems, plant biotechnology. We have agroecology, and we have our food sciences program, which we're very well known for. Can also do human nutritional sciences. We have two majors, entomology, the study of bugs, and soil sciences. Or if you're looking for something shorter and more practical, we do have an agriculture diploma that really gets you out there and working right after you graduate, and work experience is integrated as part of that diploma. So our industry partnerships are really what set us apart. We do have so many opportunities for networking and careers, even while you're still studying. And we have lots of facilities right on campus, including a dairy plant where our students have access to making cheese, ice cream, and all kinds of great stuff right on campus. And we have a dairy barn. We're also home to the only department of entomology in the country. For admission, we do not use SATs or ACTs, letters of recommendation, or essays, strictly grades for agriculture and most of our programs. We're looking for a C+ average over your English, a math from grade 12, and 2 other courses. If you have that, you'll be admitted into agriculture. It's quite straightforward. Application deadline is March 1st. Be sure to apply by then. We offer rolling admission throughout the year. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, and thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about University of Manitoba. Next up, we have Alaska Pacific University.
All right. Hi, everyone. Let me just get pulled up here, and I think we're ready to go. So my name is Amy. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at Alaska Pacific University. So on the map that we just saw, a little further north and left on the map. So we're located in Anchorage, Alaska. This is a picture out at our farm. And so I think one of the best things about being located in Alaska is definitely the scenery and the landscape, and just getting a part to be out and about. And so Anchorage is kind of a central hub for the state. And so kind of the easiest place to fly into, and then everybody kind of spreads out from there. Our campus specifically, we are a small private liberal arts and sciences institution. So we have about 550 students total. We tend to keep it a little bit smaller because we do a lot of kind of some of the similar institutions, the project-based learning, extremely hands-on. For our students, Alaska is their classroom. So we really try to get students out focused on whatever their particular major career interest area is. So we have a 8-to-1 student professor ratio. And again, I think one of the best things of coming to school in Alaska is getting a chance to be out there in the environment. And so Alaska itself is pretty amazing if you've ever had a chance to visit. We have over 46,000 miles of coastal habitat, 17 national parks, 229 federally recognized tribes. So there is a lot to do kind of in the agricultural sciences arena, and a lot of places to explore, and a lot of connections that we have not only here in Anchorage, but across the state. The state is huge. And so our main campus, like I said, is located in Anchorage, and then we have our Kellogg campus that's out in Palmer, just a little bit north of campus. So this is a quick snapshot of some of the programs that we offer. So feel free to snag a picture if you want to come back to this, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a couple of our sample courses. So this is some of our outdoor study students out kayaking in Ketchmack Bay, but you'll see some of the different types of courses that we offer. So kind of agricultural related programs. We've got the Marine Environmental Sciences program, which has concentrations in marine bio, earth and climate science, ecology, fisheries ecology, aquarium and husbandry science. And then we have a sustainability studies program, kind of exploring the culture and ecological diversity of Alaska. And then food security, all sorts of different things that students can participate in. And then our outdoor studies, which has concentrations in land management, outdoor education, outdoor entrepreneurship, snow science, and adventure therapy. So this is a little snapshot of some of the different partners that we work with, internships that students get, some of those networks. So definitely the Chugach State Parks, USGS, the US Geological Survey. We actually have a building on campus. So students who might be in kind of our earth and climate science, want to focus on glaciology, they might do some internships or projects with USGS. We had a gal who was a student worker in the admissions office, and she was working on a mapping project for USGS. But borough land management, Spring Creek is the farm that we have that's out as part of the Kellogg campus in Palmer, definitely the Department of Fish and Game. So these are pretty big organizations here in Alaska. And so again, connecting students up to those internship opportunities is a big part of the programs when you get started taking classes at APU, all the way kind of from your first year as a freshman, all the way up through your senior year, where students do a senior project and kind of report out on the internship that they've been a part of and some of the work they've been researching. So for admissions, similar to the last institution that we just heard from, the admissions process is pretty straightforward. So we're test blind. So we don't look at test scores, SAT, ACT scores for admissions or for financial aid and scholarships. The application is very simple. We don't require letters of recommendation or essay or anything like that. So again, it's just mostly demographic information, where you went to school, and then submitting that online. We do have fee waivers. Our application fee is $25, but we have fee waivers for those of you guys who might apply or qualify. And then just sending in your official high school transcript. If you are taking any dual credit classes, already have some college credit, we would request your official college transcript as well. And financial aid and scholarships. For our most of our campus programs, it would be a little over $20,000 for the year. We don't do in-state or out-of-state tuition, so it's going to all be the same for us. And that's where students can take 12 up to 18 credits per semester for the same cost. A variety of merit scholarships from $1,500 up to $7,000, $1,500 up to $7,000 for the year. $1,000 for being an out-of-state student, and then lots of different scholarships and funding options for filling out the FAFSA, including our Pell Grant. If you're Pell eligible, you could have significantly reduced tuition or zero tuition made up with grants and scholarships if you qualify. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to connect with us on social media or schedule a Calendly appointment to meet with us. Or if you're ever taking a summer trip or visiting Alaska, we'd love to hear from you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing a little bit more about Alaska Pacific. At this point, I'll invite each of our presenters to return on over video, and we will pose a few questions to the group. So I know that we already have a good one in the Q&A, so I think we'll go ahead and start with that. And we'll just have everyone answer in the order that you presented. So do any of your programs have any requirements specific to your agricultural program? And we'll have you go ahead and start, Bishops.
Yes, so currently the requirements for our agriculture programs would be the same as the requirements for the general department with which they are housed, so the Department of Environment and Geography.
And then for ourselves at Manitoba, we are looking for a couple of particular courses. So a C+ average over your English, math, and 2 other academic courses. The other academic courses, we will just pull your top grades from your transcript as long as they're not something like yoga or gym. But that is it for grades for us. Besides that, any of our programs do require you to pass 5 courses in high school and graduate from high school. So that's a baseline requirement for us as well.
And for Alaska Pacific University, our requirements would be the same as just our general admissions requirements. So typically we're looking for a 2.5 GPA or higher. If a student would be below that, we have additional process that we kind of work through them with them to continue applying for admissions. And it's kind of on an individual student basis. But typically, if you had a 2.5 or better, you would automatically be accepted into the university. And then as far as those job opportunities, I think that was another part of their question. And so I just wanted to say that for us, again, Alaska is a pretty amazing place, and agricultural sciences is can be pretty broad. And so I would say a lot of our students end up working closely with the Department of Fish and Game, the National Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, doing education projects, working with the tribal communities we had students who are looking at the rising temperature in the waters and killing the salmon population. So kind of looking at those research of the main sort of industry in the state and working with all of those different entities, whether it's in research positions or technicians. And then definitely our tribal system up here, kind of local regional tribes, they all have a very vested stake in preserving the lands. And so there's multiple different job opportunities with the individual local and regional state tribes.
Wonderful, great. And Jane, I know you gave a great answer on behalf of bishops for the job opportunities portion of the question, but the other half is what job opportunities would open up after attending this type of university? And I do want to give bishops in Manitoba a chance to answer that question as well.
Great, so can I share my screen again quickly for this one?
Sure.
Okay, one moment. Yep, so I have this answer prepared and with a little bit of an image here. So what's great about these programs is because the industry of agriculture and food is so vast and there's so many different sectors involved, these programs could lead to really a plethora of different careers based on the interests and the skills of the graduate. So it could look like something in the field of agritourism or agribusiness. It could be as an organic farmer or a market gardener or some type of entrepreneur. It could be within a government or non-government organization related to agriculture or food systems. It could be in international development or food security, and it could be within research, so as an agroecology or agricultural scientist or researcher. And much, much more, but I'll end it there.
And then for Manitoba, for some career opportunities, like the other institution said, it really is vast. We have anything from agribusiness, where you can go into, say, commodities trading, or become an analyst, or go into sales and marketing. Grain marketing is a big one, where you get to travel for your job, work for Cargill, Richardson, one of those larger companies. But we do also have food sciences, where that one I think is really interesting. you kind of can look at the ingredients and components that go into food and look into ways to make those either healthier, more sustainable, or kind of just stretch further and feed more people. So we've had some of our students go on to work in researching barley flour or ramen noodle density and how to change that. So all kinds of things that you may not really think of. A lot of it is chemistry and research based in that area.
Wonderful. Thank you all for answering that student's question. And thank you so much for sending the question through the Q&A as well. That was great. So next we'll have everyone talk through what advice you would give someone going through the college search process right now. And we'll go back to presentation order here. I think that's easiest to avoid the mute and unmute fun of Zoom. So you can kick us off here, Jane.
Actually, yeah, could I mess up your order and go last, because I'm in communications with somebody from the recruitment office and they'll be able to help me answer this question.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go in reverse. We'll start with Alaska Pacific.
All right. You said it was the advice going through.
What advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah. So I think my biggest advice is take it one step at a time. Like sometimes it can get really overwhelming very quickly. And especially, I'm sure none of you guys are procrastinators, but if you happen to find yourself in that situation and then you're in crunch time, it tends to get overwhelming kind of quickly. So just break it up into smaller chunks that you can do a little bit at a time. Set a little to-do list or a checklist, and it feels great to check those off and mark one step that you've accomplished something. But that will help it not kind of turn into this thing that you feel like it's getting out of control and you can't finish. So just take it one little chunk at a time, ask for help, and that will definitely help get you a little bit smoother through the process, and taking in all the amount of information that's coming into you about all the different schools.
My advice would be to get everything together earlier rather than later. At least for our university, our admission is rolling throughout the year. So it's always better to do things early if you can. The earlier you apply and send your documents, the earlier you'll hear back from us with a decision. So especially because in Canada, we don't have a May 1st deadline to accept an offer. So actually local students don't get admitted until the end of May, for some context. So we are not as quick in giving out the offer. So early, contact us if you have any questions. That's a big tip. If you're not sure of something, reach out to the university that you're looking at and take advantage of virtual opportunities right now. When you're looking at our universities that are likely far away from where you're living, it's a perfect time because we're offering virtual tours and events. So definitely attend those.
Hi, everyone. So I'm actually a recruitment and admissions officer from Bishop's University. So I'm going to handle our portion of the question. I would also have to reiterate that we are also rolling admissions. So I'd encourage you to apply as soon as possible. We like to get those answers out pretty quickly to our students. And then as far as my own personal advice, I'd just say to really just look into the schools that you're applying to. Of course, I know there's so many out there and there's so many different options, but my biggest piece of advice would be to just find what works for you. If you're someone who generally appreciates a smaller environment, then those smaller universities that offer that community feeling might be for you. Or if you're more of a city person, you like to get out into different environments, then I would look at those larger universities. So kind of narrowing down your search so that it's not so wide scope. Just finding out what you really value as a student and what works well for you. That'd be my biggest piece of advice, personally speaking. I know I came to Bishop's from the US, so it was a big move for myself, a big transition. So when I was trying to pick a university, I wanted to make sure that I had one that I was dead set on, but it can be a big process. So I understand there's some confusion there. So just take your time and be calm, and you'll find what works for you.
Great advice. Hopefully our audience appreciates that. Next, we'll have everyone answer the question of what is one thing you'd like our audience today to remember about your school? So what's your biggest takeaway?
So, I guess one of the things for students to remember about our school, so kind of what we're just hearing about, kind of that big transition. Going to college is a big step, and especially when you might be coming from very far away. So we definitely recognize that. So one of the biggest things for us is establishing that sense of community. So we realize that students might be coming from outside of Alaska. And so when students first get there, in order to kind of build that community and get them used to Alaska, they have the opportunity to go on something called Expedition Alaska, which is they spend about a week on campus getting to know the other new students, kind of prepping their materials, and then they go on a rafting trip down the Yukon. And so they get to see some pretty cool parts of Alaska, get to kind of be in a tight-knit group and get to know their other students and the faculty that they will be with on campus, and then kind of build that support system. So that way, when they are missing home and they're far away, they have a chance to already have some pretty solid connections. You bond pretty quick over wet socks and s'mores out on the river. So, and northern lights and cold and everything. So I think that's one of the biggest things is really feeling that kind of sense of community at that small campus. Again, if that's something that is appealing to you, we might be a really good fit.
Great. And then for myself, for Manitoba, one takeaway is that we really have agriculture at the heart of our campus. Like I said, for a long time, we were only an agricultural university. So it really is one of our main focuses for research, facilities, even just the portion of our campus that it takes up. And for opportunities too. Our agriculture students are kind of the envy of some of our other faculties in terms of their job offers and their events and student associations and co-op opportunities. So you will find no shortage of career and fun things to do in agriculture.
So for Bishop's University, I like to say to prospective students that if you're looking for a university that's going to offer you a community where you'll never feel lonely, where you'll always feel connected to your peers and to the faculty, then Bishop's is definitely the right choice for you. We have a phrase here that we like to say, which is be connected, be purple, be you. And I truly resonate with that because I feel that Bishop's offers its students the ability to find what they're passionate about and what they truly care about. So that's the one thing that I would leave you all with, is that Bishop's will truly offer you that community that you've been looking for. And then I think Jane just wanted to add quickly something about our agriculture specifically as well.
Yes, so for the programs in sustainable agriculture and food systems, I just want to reiterate that we are looking at sustainability. So ensuring agriculture and food systems, which are not only going to serve us now, but in the future, keeping a healthy environment, a thriving society, a prosperous economy, one that is really crucial in our current world of climate change and a lot of uncertainty. And we're really excited to offer these programs with a positive solution for regenerative agriculture, drawing down, sequestering carbon, and a brighter future.
Perfect. Thank you all once again. And for our final question, unless we get a great one through the Q&A here, I'd like everyone just to touch base on what's one myth that you'd like to debunk about the college admissions process.
I would say for us being a small private university, sometimes we have students who are like, I'm not going to apply because it's going to be way too expensive. It's private. So I would say like that's probably the biggest one for us. A lot of times we end up being the same or even less expensive than some of our public institutions. And there's a lot of different types of financial aid and scholarships available for students. And so that's again, if you think it's a good fit, if you like kind of the feel of the campus or the programs that we offer, kind of like that smaller environment, I always tell students to go ahead and still continue to apply to schools that you think might be a good fit for you, because you never know kind of until you get your financial aid package, maybe what you actually might qualify for. And sometimes, a lot of times they're very surprised and it's more affordable than they thought, or they might receive more scholarships than they even thought was available. So again, if it's a good fit for you, go ahead and take that chance, go ahead and apply, and then you can help kind of make your decision afterwards. So.
Ooh, debunking something about the admission process. I would say that it doesn't have to be as scary as it can seem when you're, overwhelmed with information about submitting this document and that document by this deadline. My biggest tip would be, I guess, to just keep checking your email and be in communication with us, because a lot of universities will let you know when you need to do something next, so that you don't need to be super overwhelmed at the beginning of trying to gather all that information yourself. So rely on us a little bit to fill you in, so that you don't have to do it all alone. That would be one kind of myth that I hear often, is students worry that they won't know when to submit something or when to do something. We'll let you know as well.
One myth for Bishop specifically that I'd love to debunk, which I often tell to our prospective students, is that although we are a smaller institution, we have a lot of the resources of a larger university. For example, in the past 10 years, we've done over $200 million in campus renovations. So really taken our campus to the next level. So often I'll hear from students who are looking at larger universities that they're afraid to put themselves out there and apply to a smaller school. But I promise you, we have a lot of those elements of a larger university for being as small as we are. We like to find that happy medium or that balance. So I guess my general piece of advice, though, would be to put yourself outside of your comfort zone and to push yourself to maybe look at a school that you weren't necessarily thinking of at first. I know when I was looking at schools, I was looking at a lot of larger universities in the US, and I had no thoughts of going to a university in Canada. But then once I started looking into it, it really made sense for me. So just putting yourself out there and being open to finding new opportunities that you might have been unaware of at the beginning. So yeah, just broadening that search, I guess I would say.
Perfect. Yes, thank you all for sharing a little token of wisdom there. We do have another question in the Q&A that I think if everyone can answer quickly, that would be wonderful. But how will it work for students that don't live where or near the college's location? Do each of you have on-campus students?
Yeah, so we have on-campus students, we have on-campus housing, and I would say definitely part of the being in those agricultural related programs, it's key to actually be kind of in Alaska in the environment. So definitely we would have on-campus housing and students on campus.
Yeah, same here. It is not possible to do your full degree online at our university. So you would have to come and move here at least at some point. But I recommend living on campus. Our dorms are a great option. They're fairly affordable and they're right next to our agriculture buildings as well. With the dorms, apply early. We do not have mandatory or guaranteed dorm spaces. So first come, first served for us, apply by May.
I would have to reiterate the same as well for Bishops in terms of you cannot, unfortunately, do your entire degree remotely. We do have some hybrid options at the moment for a few courses, for doing some online courses, but eventually you would have to move to Bishops. We do have on-campus housing. We have wonderful residences. I actually lived in residence my first year and met some of my lifelong friends there that I still talk to today. So I highly encourage it. And then we actually are able to guarantee housing or residences for our first year students. So as long as you apply by that June 15th deadline, you will be automatically guaranteed housing. So yeah, I highly encourage it. I think it's a great opportunity to socialize and meet new people.
Wonderful. And thank you so much to our audience member who sent in such a great question. And so that will really be what we have time for today with this session. Thank you all for joining, and a big thank you to our presenters as well. We hope that you found the information helpful. A quick note that there'll be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your screen as soon as this session wraps up. If you don't mind taking the time to fill that out, it's super helpful for us as we continue to plan events such as these moving forward. A reminder that there's another hour of sessions after this one concludes, so feel free to check those out and sign up for more if you haven't already. And that this session was recorded, so if you need to return back to any of this wisdom and this information about each of our institutions today, you'll be able to find that recording in the coming days at college2career.org. A huge thank you once again to our representatives for presenting today, and a big thank you to all of you for joining us as well. I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day.